Welcome! In this short video, I will briefly show you some of the reporting features that come with Mainteno to help you stay on top of your facilities management operation. First, I'll show you the dashboard, and here you can see several useful top-level metrics so you can understand at a glance where you are with your facilities management tasks. Clicking on any of the metrics will drill you in and provide you additional detail. And from here, you can export this list, or you could even click on the hyperlink and be taken straight to the task within Mainteno. Also, if you want to understand what's behind one of the charts, you can just simply click in. So, if we wanted to see which tasks were behind schedule, we simply click on this bar and that would drill us into the second level of categories. Here, we could see statutory compliance being an issue. We can click on that and again drill into the detail and see precisely where these issues are. At any time, you can always click up here and extract and export all the data that sits beneath the chart at the time you're viewing it. On the left, you can also see here we have an option to analyze spend. Clicking on this brings you up a spend summary. Here you can see useful metrics again. Month-to-date spend, year-to-date spend, and you can see how you've spent money over time. If you want to understand which category has been costing you the most, you can see that easily here. If you want to understand which cost centers are charging the most, you can see that here. You can also see over time how the trend of spend is shaped. As before, if you wanted to drill in to understand exactly where this expense has occurred, clicking on the item draws that down so you can see now which locations or which sites that cost was for. You can see the total year-to-date for that particular category, and you can see that all of the objects have changed to follow the interaction. Moving now on to PPM tasks. So, your planned preventive maintenance, we've got two reports. One which shows you your active tasks. This allows you to, at a glance, see which of the open tasks that are associated with scheduled activities. Again, you can see some useful metrics. You can understand how they break down in terms of categorization. You could view which stage each task is in, and at the bottom, you can just see when those tasks were raised. As always, if you wanted to focus on anything specific, for example, let's have a look at everything that is behind schedule. We simply click in here, and now we can see which category of task is behind schedule. A breakdown now of the subcategories, and you can see at the bottom when those tasks were raised. Moving on to a forecast view, you can now see not what has occurred, but what is expected to occur in future. You can understand how that cost is going to be appearing in terms of your breakdown by category. You can understand how that cost is forecast to be spread across the future years. And at the bottom, the most critical for resource planning, you can see how those tasks are going to be phased over the coming years. As always, if you wanted to focus in on any particular detail, you could, for example, have a look at 2026. This would now show you, over the year of 2026, how that task volume is going to look. That will allow you to do capacity planning, resource planning, and prepare contractors for peaks and troughs to make sure they're delivering for you. You can see how it has followed our interaction into 2026, and you can understand how that cost is going to be spread and realized over 2026. Contractor Performance Focus. This report allows you to pick any of your contractors and have a complete view of how they're performing for you within Mainteno. This is very useful for contract reviews or even just regular performance reviews to make sure they understand how they look to you. You can see some top-level metrics about things that are open and active. You can see some high-level stats now about generally what they're doing for you. How much task volume have they completed? How long are they taking to tell you they've received a task? And here, this is an indication of how much they're using Mainteno to feed back to you updates about statuses or dates, just making sure that you're kept in the loop and understand how they're performing for you. You can see at the bottom a couple of charts that allow you to see how those trends have changed over time, again with the ability to click in and understand, for example, within that particular year, how their interaction has changed over time. Compliance is a very important aspect of facilities management, and as such, we have several comprehensive reports to help you manage the compliance in particular. The one you're looking at shows that we've got over 1,000 active PPM schedules, and we are 93% compliant overall across the organisation. If you wanted to see this by location, for example, that's easy to do. Equally, you could select all the way down to a particular contract or provider and understand whether you're compliant or not compliant due to a particular provider. Over here on the right, you've got two useful metrics now. These allow you to understand when schedules may be slipping, because in reality, the date which a contractor comes to do some work is not always the same day at which it needs to be done. This allows you to understand which ones are in warning and might need someone to check and understand whether the dates need to be moved. And over here you can see which ones are invalid, so you know now, because of the dates of visits, these schedules must be changed. Here on the left, you can see which schedules have attendance overdue, again broken down by the parent category. If you wanted to understand how that looked within statutory compliance, you would just click on the segment of the object. That would drill you in and all the metrics would adjust accordingly. Now you can see which schedules have attendance overdue, broken down by the subcategory. This was just a brief summary of just a few of the ways in which Mainteno can streamline and ensure control within your FM operation. If you would like to understand more, then please reach out to your primary Mainteno contact. Thank you.